Thanks, Helen. I probably wouldn't have gone that far back in history, but but thank you for that. I probably shouldn't have told you that, but anyway. I've probably got nothing to say after those four people, so let's have lunch. No, seriously, we should probably should have a look at the Natural Bank. But let's take a trip back in history to, Helen asked me yesterday for my aha moment, and I racked my brain and I couldn't think of anything. So, because since I was 5 years old, I've always wanted to be a farmer and be involved in farming or agriculture in some way. And fast forward 55 years, here I am, and I hung up the boots and the hat last week. So I guess I don't want to use the word retired, but I'm not a farmer anymore. But I've moved on to things that I'm still very passionate about. So that's the quick history snapshot. But let's go back in time again to where it all began. So my wife and I started a not-for-profit organisation called Organic Matters Foundation that developed a training program called Soil School, and it's been rolled out across the South Pacific for the last 20 odd years, and it's been actually quite successful, still does now. And I get to go to the islands and teach it, which is quite cool. When you tell someone that you're off to Fiji, they think you're sitting around a pool and drinking cocktails, which we do after work. But what we noticed with the Soil School was that farmers or landholders was adopting these new practices, which now come under the idea of regenerative agriculture. And this was way back when it was called biological agriculture and then became sustainable agriculture. And now it's regenerative agriculture. And watch this space, because I think transformative agriculture is coming next, which is a little bit further down the track. So we all have these movements, which are great. And we need figureheads to push these movements along to change the overall population's perception of agriculture. So what we noticed from Soil School was that these farmers were increasing their soil carbon in the top 30 centimetres of the soil by 0.7% a year on year, which is actually quite a lot. I won't go into how much, but it's a lot. And that had a value. So we thought, well, back then we thought, how do we engage the farmers and give them some real value in this, and how do we put a monetary price on it? So then was born the Carbon Collective, which is the parent company of Natural Bank. And we looked at carbon in the same way as the Common Garden Variety Carbon Project is today, where it's purely transactional. You create a carbon credit, you get your checkbook out and you buy it, and that's it. And there's a bit of transparency and a little bit of integrity in that, but not enough for us. So we shifted to nature positive and in the nature space, and how do we value that? Because while carbon is really important, it's just one piece of the puzzle. And so we do a similar thing where we actually collaborate with Carbonate on those indexes that we measure, and they measure 8 and we measure 5. Ours are soil health, water health, biodiversity health, nutrient density, and social and community. And we measure those things in order to get a similar value to what Mike was talking about, so we can connect business to it. And that's the kicker, connecting business to nature. Nature is all around us. It's in this room. It's not something that we drive to on the weekend. It's not something we put over there and put a fence around. We are part of it, and everything can be measured, and we do measure it. So from a business perspective, if legislation is in play now that from the 1st of July last year, big business has to report, mandatory reporting on ESG. 1st of July this year, it's medium-sized business, and after that, it's small business. And my take on it is by 2035, you'll be doing it individually. So giving people the opportunity to invest rather than be a cost. Now, with a Common Garden Variety Carbon Project and buying a carbon credit, you can just get your checkbook out and pay for it. And it's a cost. What we do is we move it on your balance sheet to an investment. So we allow you to invest in your supply and or value chain. So our main focus is smallholder farmers. We don't discriminate against large land holdings. We do take them on, and we do have quite a few projects, but our focus is on the smallholder farmer to give them a seat at the table, and that comes from that Pacific Island lens. And giving them a seat at the table to join this marketplace and get some financial return. So there's 500 million smallholder farmers on the planet that don't have a voice in this market, and Natural Bank's giving them one. So this is our Natural Health Index, which is a similar thing to Carbonate, and we collaborate with them, and that's our 5 indexes, and the scoring is between 0 and 100, and then it's averaged to give you what we call our NHI, our Natural Health Index, and that is the carrot for the financial return for the landholder and the investment for the business. So the two go hand in hand. Now, it's a much bigger conversation, and I've got 8 minutes, and I've just about worn that out, but well, there you go. So, yeah, right on cue. But, yeah, so we're putting nature as an investment, and bringing us together as being part of nature. So while carbon is good, it's great, it's just one piece of the puzzle, and we've got to put everything into context. So make your earth count. Thanks very much.